And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA! Welcome, everybody.
Bravo.
Welcome
to our first podcast post inauguration of the president, the finest president of the United States that we've ever had. God bless America.
Keep your hurricane.
God bless America.
God bless.
America first. No more America last.
So let's start off from the beginning. So while Obama was in his second term, he did this correspondence dinner, which Trump was in attendance, and everybody was making fun of him, and Trump telling the jokes of him, and that's part of what initiated it all. So that's like from that, everybody knows about that Obama dinner. So let's go to 2015, summer 2015. What do you think? First, getting off the escalator. Let's start from the escalator onwards.
Well, Donald Trump, soon to be President Trump at that time, was aggravated that he was mocked at that dinner in such a way. So he, thank God he was mocked. Thank God we have him, because he won the presidency. He did a very good job that 4 years, and we would have been in even better shape if he would have just if he didn't get cheated out of that second 4 years by the Democrats rigging that thing. But here we are again. He's getting his 4 years, his final 4 years, and he's much more prepared now to do even better than he did on his first 4. And we're the beneficiaries of that. All he wants is a great legacy, and he's already earned one, and he's just going to solidify it from this point on.
All right, this is going to be a free-flowing thoughts and opinions about this whole thing. So at this time, please sit down to just relax in your chair. Now, he came down the escalator, and he had 3 different obstacles. He had the Democrats, he had the media, and he had the other Republicans.
Academia,
all kinds of things.
And he had the movie performers,
right?
The stores in Hollywood.
So none of them wanted that, because why? Because they like to be a part of the establishment, the matrix, the machine, whatever you want to call all this, and I don't know what was going to happen last night as we filmed this on Wednesday, November 6, 2024, but last night I thought there could be potentiality for them to cheat again like 4 years ago.
Right.
We need one-day voting, paper ballots, that night, not waiting out days and days in advance. Well, that's because I think Laura Trump checked the Okay, so I am a member of the Judaism thing, and I think he did really well with Israel, because in 2018, when all the other candidates on both sides would not allow the change of the U.S. Embassy, he actually got that done. So I give him a lot of credit for that. Now,
he was the only one.
The only one.
Every president said he was going to do it, and no one did.
Exactly.
But the Golden Warrior, when he says something, he means it, and he's going to do it, and he lets you know where at in the process he's at, and he keeps you informed without you asking him. You can understand his answers. It's a delight. It's a pure delight having a competent, caring, squared away person in charge. Pure leader.
Absolutely. Now, let's go back to this past summer that just passed a few months ago. There are some people in this country or in this world that possibly think that first attempt at the Butler thing was a staged up setup, that it was staged. Do you think it was a legit thing, that he really was shot, or they staged up the whole thing?
Anybody who says that they don't really believe it. They can't really believe that. If they do, they're dumber. It's unbelievable. No one is going to stage something like that.
Okay, that's good. That's a good answer. All right. So that was this past summer. Also this summer, after RFK Jr. got in the ring in April of 2023, as of August 2024, RFK Jr., a Democrat of the John Kennedy and his brother family, you know it's bad when he switches over. And now that Trump is officially in, RFK will be helping all of America get healthy, better in many ways health-wise.
Sure. And John F. Kennedy, he's a shining example of healthy food, a solid exercise program. However old he is, he's probably right around 70 years of age. He's fantastic. I've seen him doing push-ups on TV.
Yeah.
His body is toned. He's in very good physical condition, and that's all due to his lifestyle, what he eats and what he does.
Great, that's great for RFK. Now let's move on to the one of the most important geniuses of our lifetime, Mr. Elon Musk. Please tell the audience how Musk is going to improve things now.
Elon Musk, we couldn't have a better person in our corner. I hope he becomes a United States citizen throughout all this.
He actually did go through the process, so he is now a U.S. citizen.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Good.
Even though he's from South Africa,
Good.
But there's people that don't want him to become president one day. He is going to become president.
He's going to be the
helping with
the financial advisor and the financial management of our country, of all these failed programs like the Department of Education, where the education is less and less and it keeps costing more and more, and the product that's being put out is dumber and dumber.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna save some money, and we're gonna save some lives and some minds as well.
Absolutely correct. Now let's talk really briefly about three other gentlemen: Mr. J.D. Vance, Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy, and Mr. Ron DeSantis. Where do you see the future of these three gentlemen?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
That's the Indian American.
Yes, he's very, very good. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's going to be placed in a
some kind of position.
He's going to be placed in a department where he'll do the most good, and I expect whatever he does will be fantastic. And the second one was
J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance, a great supportive vice president. A lot of common sense. He's been through the hard times. He knows what real America is like, and he's going to stick with real America. And he has a heart for the working man, for the people, the majority who work and who strive to do well.
Right, absolutely. Now my little 2 cents about it is, even though age really shouldn't matter anymore in regards to anything, as long as you're over the age of 18. As far as age is concerned, what I like about both gentlemen is that Vivek is August 85, not July 85, so maybe I could make his money one day.
Yeah.
You see him with Elon Musk. And two, B, after Vivek being 85, Mr. J.D. Vance is 84, so he's just a year older than me. So it's nice to know that we have young, fresh blood to keep the forward of our country.
Absolutely. And then Ron DeSantis, he's been the governor of Florida for quite a while, and he's golden. He's golden for that state. They don't ever want him to leave because he's done such a great job with all these catastrophes that they've had down there, and he's handled each and every one of them in a very solid fashion. And a lot of presidents, a lot of former governors of states have become presidents.
Right, exactly.
Because it's like running a miniature
Right,
country.
exactly. So Vivek and J.D. Vance are millennials, and DeSantis is a Gen Xer. So I'm just tired of all these baby boomers, and before it's time for the younger people, because for obvious reasons. Before we get into more talk about 2015 to 2029, I want to talk about another team member, Miss Tulsi Gabbard. What do you think of her?
Fighter jet pilot, extremely well spoken, well educated, common sense.
Now, if there was ever to be an American U.S. president one day that's not male and is actually female,
The track record is so important, and it's easy to tell if you just do a little Even his dog was screwed up. His dog bit everybody in the White House. Joe Biden himself was showering with his daughter. He contributed to all that. What a mess this is.
Outside of all that family aspects, which is disturbing to say the least, outside of that family stuff though, what do you think of the June, July thing? So let's go back to that summer, this past thing. End of July, they decide the other side, hey, let's have a really earlier debate, earlier than usual, and we see how bad he does at it. He, of course, does bad, and then they decide a few weeks later, let's just take him out in a non-democratic type way. Let's just coup him in. What's it called, a coup, right? Let's coup in her since she's the vice president, and we want a female. And Joe Biden and her would both lose no matter which one it was. But they wanted to do it the wrong non-right way.
Well, she didn't receive one vote.
Not one single vote.
One vote. They just wanted to stick her in their figure, and then she punched two tickets. She's black and about 5 or 6 other minorities mixed in there, regardless of what she's saying. And then she's a female, so she got all the DEI tickets punched. They figured that she'd be a formidable foe, but she's not a formidable foe because she's word salad.
Exactly.
You can't even understand. You can't get a straight answer to any question.
Now, as far as all that is concerned with ethnicities, races, as far as the general presidential 2024 election is concerned, when they were trying to trick the women and other ethnicities to vote for her, Trump has got everybody almost really. He's got Muslims in Michigan, was it some of them state in the Midwest. He's got that. He's got Muslim and Jewish. He's got white, Asian, Hispanic, and black, all on the merit of the merit way, not her way of what they were trying to do.
Everybody gets a fair shake with President Trump. His first 4 years was a great indicator of that. Everyone got a fair shake. There was no unequal opportunity programs or embarrassing programs to the recipients. Everyone does not start off at the same place, and we don't all end up at the same place.
Right, exactly.
You start where you start.
Exactly.
And you're the product. You reap what you sow.
Exactly.
You become the finished product of what you've done.
Exactly. And what I'm saying in regards to all this about that is that last night, for him to win and us to know that he win this time, that had to mean that black, Asian, Hispanic, and women, in some way, shape, or form of those categories, all voted for him, or else he wouldn't have gotten in.
Right.
So thank you to the Muslims. I love you guys. Thank you to the blacks, Hispanic, and Asian, and the women, because all of you were thinking and studying, doing your research, not the day of the election, but before that.
It's natural that a human being with average intelligence would vote on their own behalf.
Exactly.
They would vote in their own interest. Now, what puzzled me about this Kamala Harris thing was a lot of voters voted against their own interest. They voted for a terrible, horrible track record that was bound to repeat itself. Thank God there was enough people who voted correctly. And we're going to be just fine now for the next 4 years. President Trump knows he made a few bad choices during his first 4. He won't make them again. There won't be no Pence, no disloyal people on his staff, because he knows who the disloyal ones are. He won't have them. He won't even appoint them. And he's going to end up with guys like Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis. He's going to be waiting in the wings to run for president maybe the next time, because he was a commander in the Navy. He has a brilliant career in the Navy, and as a governor of Florida, he'd be a perfect follow-up to President Trump when he's done.
Absolutely. So it's like DeSantis and J.D. Vance have some military experience, whereas Vivek has like the business experience.
Sure.
So he could be the next business part of all this, because it was finally time to have a businessman in charge instead of these traditional, regular old who just didn't know what they were doing.
Absolutely. And you got Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens. The bullpen is so deep in the Republican Party. Talented people, good people, who have common sense, who will put America first.
Exactly.
As President Trump started.
Exactly. So that's all the MAGA. That's all the MAGA American First team. But let's fast forward 4 years from now, in 2028. On the other side,
right.
Who do you think the 2028 Democratic presidential nominee candidate is going to be? If you throw out a few names.
I'd say Ron DeSantis.
No, you meant the other guy.
The presidential
No, I
candidate.
mean, I think you meant the California guy, the California governor.
Oh, now what are you talking? Democrat or
Yeah,
Republican?
Democrat now. Who do you think is the 2028 Democrat?
Democrat. Oh, it would probably be that Gavin.
Newsom.
Newsom.
Who else possibly? Who do
I
they
don't
have? Who do
know,
they have?
that Gavin Newsom is pretty. He's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's pretty aggressive.
He would be fine.
He'll be the one out front, and the Democrats probably have a few other ideas, but I believe Gavin Newsom will be the guy running the next 4 years for the Democrats.
How do you think we should? Who do you think? Like I said before, right? One-day voting, paper ballots with no machines, and then you know the day of, right? As far as these are concerned.
Yeah,
that way
this time it worked out
actually
great. It worked out great. We know today's the day after the election, after the voting, and we know that President Trump is in. We know that the Senate is now Republican, and we also know that the House of Representatives is probably going to be Republican as well. So it's going to be smooth sailing for our recovery. Our recovery during this 4 years is going to be astronomical because President Trump knows exactly what he's going to do. There'll be no more running across the border. There'll be no more.
What do you think? What do you think woke a lot of people up to actually vote right this time, correctly this time? What made people wake up?
I don't know.
Maybe it's because they were tired of all the nonsense, I guess, because we survived November 2020, November 2020 to November 2024. We all survived this.
Yeah.
So that's at least something to be grateful for. I mean.
Sure, and we survived it, and we did all right despite the poor leadership that we had for the past 4 years. And it's been bad. It's been bad. We have millions of extra people here, and they're not the best people that we need here.
Right. Now I got two follow-up questions about the near future. Those are as follows. Okay. Number one, well, I think the answer is of course yes. The question is hopefully he has security and protection this time. But number one, how many different people are going to try to assassinate him from now onwards forward in this whole life thing of this all? And two, B, apparently it's the vice president that certifies the votes on January 6th, which I think is kind of a conflict of interest considering she's the current vice president. So, do you think she will certify January 6th to let Trump be the next president, or will she not certify the vote?
Who is she?
Kamala.
She's not certifying anything.
But the vice president helps with all that. That's what Mike Pence did 4 years ago. He decided Joe Biden won,
Right.
so he listened instead of trying to fight that Trump actually won. Do you think she'll certify that?
We'll just have to wait and see. I don't think the chameleon is. She's not very smart, and she doesn't have any energy. She's lazy.
And it was
She's not smart.
And it was
You can't expect much out of her.
exactly. And it was a very lazy and not smart campaign.
Right.
Whatever they decided for their campaign, every single campaign decision was the incorrect, not working position. First of all, if they would have chose Josh Shapiro as the vice president, then they may have had a better shot. But they chose this guy. What do you call him? Tampon Tim. They chose a guy that. What? That guy? You want that guy running things?
Stolen valor. Tampon Tim AWOLs was stolen valor. That character collected 24 years worth of Army Reserve pay. He was a paper tiger. He wasn't even a real soldier, a reservist. And after 24 years, they finally tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, we're mobilizing you and your unit. Tampon Tim went behind his unit's back, right into the administrative office, dropped his papers, because most civilians don't realize that when you have 20 years or more, you can drop your papers and get out. You're not going to be held to your contract.
Speaking of other Democratic candidates that either won or are running, Mr. What do you call him, Lurch? Mr. Lurch, after Joe Rogan recently interviewed Trump, but like a week or so after that, actually he then had Mr. John Fetterman on his show. So I didn't watch the John Fetterman one because obviously I had no interest in watching about seeing John Fetterman, but maybe John Fetterman has come around in some aspects as far as helping things.
John Fetterman has made a great recovery from whatever problem he had up in the brain, because he actually makes sense now, and he still dresses like a bum, but he makes sense, and he seems like a reasonable person now.
I'm only mentioning him since he was on Joe Rogan's podcast really soon after Trump's.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He's
Did you just watch the whole thing of Trump's podcast or no? It was long. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I watched the full Trump podcast of Joe Rogan and the full JD Vance one.
Right.
So I think we're in for a very bright and promising future. I think if it would have went the other way, then we pretty much, well, we'll probably, I don't know.
If it would have went the other way, if we had Chameleon and Tampon Tim, that would have been a death blow to the United States.
And to the world.
Yeah, to the world. Everything. It might be beyond repair, because Joe Biden was the worst president we've ever had. Jimmy Carter is very happy because Jimmy Carter is now the second worst.
Just to keep this current, as of Wednesday, November 6, 2024, on October 1st, 2024, Mr. Carter, President Jimmy Carter, officially became the longest living American president at 100 years old. That's great about the age, but he was terrible and horrible in regards to working with Israel and all of Israel's enemies. Also bad for Israel, in addition to Jimmy Carter, was Obama. So Carter, Obama, and Joe Biden, all three of them were very, very bad for Israel, but we'll give you credit to making it to 100 years. Right? Pretty much.
Nice guys finish in a different position other than Commander-in-Chief of the United States and all of our armed forces and the power and the workings of the United States. We need a decisive, stern, self-disciplined leader in charge, and that's not Obama, and it's not Biden, and it's certainly not Chameleon Harris.
The last time I checked, it was at 277 electoral votes. You think right now it may even went higher than that? You said
He's about 290 now.
it might be 290 actually, because it would have been better. It would have been better if he went over 300.
The last time I looked at TV, it was 285 or 287.
So maybe it is one of those.
Yeah, he'll probably hit 300, which is not even necessary. 270 wins it, but he'll probably hit 300. And I'm proud, and I'm very, very thankful that the American people from both sides made the right decision. What was the 4 words you said? The people have spoke?
That's going to be the title, yeah. If you made it this far into the podcast, the title that you clicked on says, "The people have spoken."
Right, and we have. And I'm very thankful and grateful that we spoke correctly. Because now we have a guy in there who's funny as hell. He has some personality defects, but we're not hiring somebody for a personality. We're hiring him for results, and the results come from Trump, and they're solid results, and we know what they're going to be. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it, and you can understand him.
Exactly. Just to keep this current, somewhere in the early 1900s, somewhere between 1900 and 1940, we had a little president, that not many people know about, named Mr. Grover Cleveland. He was the first, and at the time, only non-consecutive president. Mr. President Grover Cleveland was both the 22nd and the 24th president of 2 separate non-consecutive terms. And now, as of last night, Trump was what now?
Number 2. He's
number
the second
both
to do it.
Both 40. He's now both 45. Yeah. Both 45 and 47. If we count that Joe Biden was actually 46, which can be, but maybe.
Well, we had a ghost in there. We had somebody filling the position at 46.
Exactly. What else do you think the audience should know about this whole topic? So he got started in 2015 after Obama made fun of him at a dinner. And then he ran and actually won against all these different obstacles, challenges, and forces. And then in 2020, well, we're not going to get into that because everybody knows what happened in 2020. And now we make it here to November 2024. What do you think? What do you think about this whole thing? About what it's like? It's been one roller coaster.
I think it's been a hell of a ride. And you know what? God brought Trump to us. he brought Trump because he's given us a chance. God has given us a chance, and it seems like we're gonna make the best of it right now.
Oh, and absolutely. And by the way, anybody that thinks that first assassination attempt in Butler, PA was staged and not real, I'll tell you one reason why it wasn't, which we lost. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he had a family and he was protecting his family in the back of that. That gentleman in his 50s, in the back of that, of Trump speaking, he got shot from something and passed away. So a person in the audience actually got shot and lost their lives themselves. So whoever thinks that the whole rally, rather the first shot to Trump was an attempt, was faked, no, the person in the audience died, and that shows it was legitimately real.
It's ridiculous. Everything all the bad stuff that the Democrats do, they quickly blame Trump. They're like kids. It's unbelievable. The childishness in that party. The Democrat, not the Democratic, because there's nothing democratic about it. The Democrat Party, RAT, is filled with rats. It's unbelievable how sinister they are.
How do you not have an open primary for other Democratic candidates to run? When RFK Jr. got himself into the ring, they didn't want him because they knew that RFK Jr. would beat Biden. So it was a closed primary of Biden only, and then they wait so late to get her transferred over when she never got a single actual vote.
Not a single vote, nothing.
If they can do that.
They installed her in that position, and good. I'm glad they did, because she was pretty easy to beat. Very easy to beat. Ask her a question, any question. She'll start off with, I grew up in a middle-class family, and that's a lie as well. Both of her parents were professionals.
Oh, that's also right, Joe. Before I forget, if you're still watching at this point, I forgot in the beginning to do something that I want to make sure makes the video. Da da da. It's the Trump dance. Da 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 da. Okay, I have to work on that, but I'll make sure I get it in the next videos. That was a little Trump dance for you. Everyone else is doing the Trump dance as well. What is it? Is it something like that?
Yeah. That's Benito Juarez, the man, the myth, and the legend. A heavy-hitting Hebrew that won't leave a scrap of meat on your bones if he's after you.
Absolutely correct. And let's see. Oh, speaking of the bones, with our dinners with Miss Kamala and Mr. President 45 and 47, we're having a dinner with them. We have the steak and the filet mignon and all that kinds of great stuff. So, but then we get to dessert. What's that dessert?
Well, we're gonna have cake and cock. Baker's lunch.
Hey, nice. Now we're gonna have a short commercial break to announce that sadly, rest in peace, my old condoms, they expired on September 1st. So sometime after that, I did buy new Trojan condoms for her pleasure. They're in the passenger seat of my car. So in the rare case that any women are actually watching this, which they're probably not, because according to the analytics, I'm 100% men, age 35 to 44. But if any women catch this and find me to be attractively desirable, and you want to come to my area, I got condoms on the passenger seat of my car, ready to go, good for a while.
And the old ones are filled with water, and they're being used currently as water balloons.
As water balloons, right, water balloons. Oh, all right, wow. Let me think. All right, let's see. Anything else that we haven't yet spoken about, you think the audience should know about this topic of the ride that was 2015 to 2029, the Trump?
The ride that was and the results that we have, it's a blessing. It's a true blessing. We've been given a reprieve, and this next 4 years is going to be very, very good for everyone. Everyone gets a fair shake under President Trump. There's no unequal opportunities and all this nonsense, DEI. Bullshit. Everyone gets a fair shake. And we all start off in different places in life, and then we all end up in different places. There's no equity. And there's no equality. Everyone has a fingerprint. It's unique from the next person's. Everyone has their own character. There's no uniformity in what the liberals the bullshit that they try to put out on us. And what they do, the liberalism has never, ever worked. Any history major would know that. Throughout the history of the world, the liberal, woke, philosophy has never worked. You need a strong leader and an honest leader and a smart leader and a self-disciplined leader. And guess what? We got him. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that unlike Pence, I think, God forbid, if anything happens to Trump during these next 4 years, J.D. Vance has got it covered.
We got Vance, right.
Vance is covering it.
And he'll be a good student. He'll be a good understudy.
Absolutely correct. Let's see. I haven't seen how I think what happened is, thankfully, the majority of Pennsylvania voted for him, but for some reason, the city of Philadelphia always wants to vote Democrat for this. I don't know why.
Because of the population.
The population. Because, I mean, I thought it was nice that he went to Temple University over the summer for that. I mean, I thought that would have helped for it, but apparently not.
Well, he done as well. He done as well as a Republican can,
right,
in an area like that. But inner cities in any city in the United States, they're not winning.
The thing is that we'd have to look up later what the actual total for their actual updated count is of the electoral votes. I still think it should have. I think it's still under 300. The only time was that 1984, Reagan had like 400 or 500 of those votes, electoral votes. Like really, no president ever in time what Reagan got for that in 84. So.
Well, I feel that Trump is going to have such good results this time, even much better than his last 4 years. The results are going to be so good, a lot of people in the inner cities throughout the nation, there's going to be a lot of conversions to Republican
as there was in the
party just because of what Trump is going to accomplish this 4 years. Because the people are going to realize everybody wants a fair shake. Nobody wants to get discounted or discriminated against or anything like that. So no more of this unequal opportunity DEI bullshit. We are who we are. We do what we do, and we do the best we can with a fair shake, and that's it.
Yes, exactly. So I think, that day when the first shot, whether it's staged or not is a whole other story for people, but he went through his ear and he's still with us. So I and other people think that was because of divine timing of protection, because I thought that was divine timing of protection that he was safe like that. Because you can shoot someone all you want, but if God's protecting you, then you're on God's side, not the other way, or whatever you want to call the other way. And if you don't have any religious beliefs, then there's some secular way to say why and how Trump is still with us, thank God, at least as of now. And he's got J.D. Vance to cover, God forbid if anything happens.
Right.
But I feel like how he's going to help America with the tariffs again, we haven't gotten into the tariffs, how he helps America with the tariffs and how he deals with all these other countries is what we're looking for. Because she wasn't going to be able to talk with any of those foreign leaders.
Well, the foreign leaders were licking their lips. The Putins and the fellow from China and the guy with the bad haircut from North Korea, they were all in Iran. They were all licking their lips, thinking that the chameleon was going to get in because they were going to ride her like a worn out pony, and because she's just another pawn like Joe Biden, and an even weaker one, if that's possible.
Right. Well, that's why I'm wondering. I think I agree with you that Newsom is going to run in 28. Yeah. I'm just wondering who other on that side of the Democrats, liberals, I wonder who outside of him might also run, which we may not know because 4 years is a long time from now.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter who the Democrats run for the 4 years from now, because this 4 years is going to be so successful, so fruitful that. There's no one they have on their side of the aisle who could compete with what we're going to experience this next 4 years.
Absolutely. And what I like about all this is that no one thought he was going to win in 2016. He didn't even think he was going to win, but somehow he did. Yeah. And 4 years later, the sea bug, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, that's a whole other topic. I don't want YouTube to. I'm already not even monetized at all. I'm never ever monetized. But 2020, everyone has their feelings about that and how that went down. But a comeback from 2016, 20, 24 wins, loses, and there's only the second time in history as the second non-consecutive winning two separate.
Right.
So this is a comeback.
And he'll carry a legacy with him to his grave, and thereafter he'll be right up there with Ronald Reagan at the very top. Ronald Reagan, George Washington, the very top. There might be a new mount. What's the name of that mountain where they have the heads on?
Oh yeah, I forget the name of that. I was there once.
Yeah.
What I like is that a lot of people on the other side that isn't researching and using critical thinking is that he's actually a nice, genuine, real guy. That if you watch the Joe Rogan podcast, you would have seen that he's a guy that anybody, no matter who they are, could relate to. Whereas for exactly on the,
you can understand him.
He's
funny.
He's funny, all that kind of great, awesome stuff. Whereas on the other side, they use their pawns and their puppets who are just told what to do and say, instead of a leader that just knows what to do without needing their whatever they're telling the people to do.
Right. It's Mount Rushmore.
That's it, Mount Rushmore. I visited there once. I was at I was at Mount Rushmore in either July or August of 2001. So Mount Rushmore, I was there, and the Grand Canyon and a number of other places. But I feel like
someday there may be a Mount Rushmore too, and we'll have Reagan and Trump up there.
Yes.
And whoever else is deemed worthy for such an exalted position.
Right.
But definitely Reagan and Trump are going to be up there. Both of those guys did a great job, and they love America, and America was first with them, and it always will be again, as long as we keep on the steady path of discipline, self-discipline.
And I'm actually happy also about last night for another reason, is that back 2 years ago in the midterm elections here, in the midterms, it had, like, I don't even know the amount, but a huge amount of women come in 2022 midterms only for the abort issue.
Right.
I don't want to even say the word, but whereas that was always going to be an issue. Now, thankfully, the women that did vote, well, most of them, not all, because obviously some voted Democrat. Most of the women that were not Democrat they thought about it and said, no, yeah, that's an issue, but I care more about making money in my pocket and helping my kids have a great, kids have a life for my kids. So those issues trumped, or pardon the pun, over the one democratically abortion. They just want to kill babies, right? But whereas for him winning again, the women were still thinking outside of that one issue, basically.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about that issue.
Because I'm not. We can't. We're not women. So we don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
Just that.
I know that you don't. An abortion in months 7, 8, and 9 is murder. I know that, and you can't murder a person in a proper society. So anything other than that late term abortion is up for discussion. It's
absolutely. Now, if there's any major updates between now and, let's say, end of January 2025, with his hopefully still living inauguration, anything you should tell the audience about what you think the next few months are going to be like? I mean, you think that are they going to be peaceful there, or is there going to be violence?
Well, we're going to see. Today's the day after the election, so we're going to see how you Democrats do out there. If there's not all the cities don't catch on fire, and muggings and all kinds of protests. I hope that you Democrats can act like human beings and accept the loss. Accept the loss like we had to lose. We had to accept that loss when Joe Biden won, the worst president of the United States. Maybe the worst president that we'll ever have. Who knows? No one knows the future, but he's certainly the worst up until now. So we had to live with that as a country, and
pretty much.
Let's not destroy our own country. Let's not destroy our own cities.
No, you never let that happen again. To conclude this podcast, Sailor Dennis is going to hit his final thoughts and opinions about this whole ride that was 2015 to 2029 with Trump and all the ups and downs we had. We're going to have his final thoughts and opinions, and now then at the end, we're both going to do the famous and really cool and fantastic Trump dance, the one that he does at all his rallies. So, final thoughts and opinions on this whole thing.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Track record. Track record it says it all. You don't have to dig too deep to find out that we're in good shape now. And everybody, just be grateful. Dance, sing, eat a good meal.
All three, yes.
Treat your husbands and your wives
That's
real good.
That's 4.
Be happy with
That's
everything.
5. That's great 5 points. That's a great 5 points to end it off at. So let's now do Trump's rally dance that he does at all his rallies.
All right.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Everybody dance and have a good time. This is friend and co-host Sailor Dennis and Millennial Man Motions Entertainment LLC signing out till any important Trump updates that might come out from now till end of January 2025. Peace out, shalom, God bless.
That's it.